And like somebody was talking last night, we had a little party for my kids who graduated and stuff last night. Father Rocha was there. And somebody was asking about him. I said, he was a football coach for 14 years, and he says, I was going to be a football coach. I was going to find the tall German girl and marry her and have a lot of kids. And that didn't work out. But it was like, I was telling him, I said, yeah, he was a football coach. Started going to daily mass during Lent 1 time a week. Then it became every day during Lent. Then it became going to mass every day, even when it wasn't Lent, like you're talking about, that it becomes something that you go. But when I said he started going to mass 1 day a week, and they go, that's where it started. At the minute he started going to mass 1 day a week, he was going to be a priest. For him, I go to mass every day, and church actually said, don't even think about it. So, anyway. So, yeah, you're right.
Oh, there you go, Carolyn.
Doing that thing should be something that you want to do forever. So, is it just giving up something? And what is all of that about? It is a discipline, Marcia, like you said, but let's go a little deeper with that. And by the way, everybody knows Ash Wednesday is a day of fast and abstinence. And I was looking at my calendar. I have Ash Wednesday, day of fast and abstinence. And I had somebody that wanted to book a lunch meeting with me at Jack Stack.
There's some
And a salad.
Yeah, I know it's going to be a great salad. They do a great job with salads at Jack
Just
Stack.
because
that salad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's not going to be in town the day before. It's that day or no day, and I don't really care about doing lunch, but they keep pestering me, so okay, we're going to do it. Anyway, so all right, there's a that's a discipline, right? You're in Jack Stack, and no meat.
Their vegetables, kebab, amazing.
They have a good
Get that.
they have a good salmon too,
The
actually.
vegetable kebab is amazing.
Yeah, but we're not here to talk about. Trust me, I know all about the food. So, just another thing, we talk about good Ash Wednesday, Good Friday, day of fast and abstinence. Fridays during Lent, no meat. Just to make a point that a lot of Catholics are not aware of, that's every Friday. People say, oh, wait a minute, the Catholic Church changed that. We can eat meat on Friday now. No, they didn't. What they said was, on Fridays, outside of Lent, either don't eat meat on Friday or find some other kind of penance to do on a Friday. So, maybe on Friday, instead of giving up meat, you give up time doing something else, working with the poor, or maybe that is the day you go to Mass that morning. Maybe you do an hour of adoration of the Blessed Sacrament. Whatever, find something. Now, the reason they changed that, and I'm going to get back to Lent, but the reason they changed that is because in today's culture, eating fish on Friday, most people will eat fish 3 or 4 times a week. I do. I like fish, Or there are some, about 1 day a week, I'm a veggie-only guy. What are you laughing about?
I'm sorry, she said, you know, I like fish, basically. I don't. I don't.
So, 1 day a week, I'll just do veggies. I don't have meat, fish, nothing. It's just veggies.
Why on Fridays?
Huh?
Why on Fridays?
What day did Christ die? There you go. Okay, so the point is, it's not so hard to do meatless Fridays. That's why they changed it. But I'm going to tell you, I haven't figured out what the other thing is I want to do yet, so I don't eat meat on Fridays all year round. I just don't. And you know what? It's still hard. Even though I like fish, You know, the point is, it's always on Fridays when people are inviting me to places where you eat meat. Right? By the way, another one of Father John's thing was that people keep saying, well, fish is meat. But he said, yeah, but that's special meat because when the ark, we had Noah's Ark, when the flood came, the only animal that survived naturally was fish, so they must be holy. That's why we can eat fish on Friday. I don't know, but it sounds good. Okay? Anyway, it is hard, every Friday to do that. We had a meeting here Friday because we're starting to plan the Triduum, which we should talk about too, coming up. Anybody know what the Triduum is? All right, remind me. We got to get back to that before the end. Close. But we were starting to plan the Triduum services. So it was.
Is that the scrutiny?
The 4 days
No.
before Easter. The Holy Thursday, Good Friday.
3 days.
Triduum. 3.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Right. Right. Holy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday. We'll talk about that later. See, that's why last week sucked, because I kept getting off track. What are you laughing about? You were part of the problem. All right. So it is hard, because always everything when you say, I'm going to do this, so we were planning, we're working on the stuff for the Triduum, and it was Deacon, Father Rocha, myself, and Ken Harrell, and we were working on this. It got to be about 1:30, and we were done for the day working on this, and Father said, I haven't had lunch. And I said, yeah, me neither, and Ken said, me neither, so we all went to lunch. And I won't say who, but it wasn't Father, had a cheeseburger, which is fine, that's their call. Maybe they are doing something else different, But I noticed that 2 of us stayed away from the meat on Friday, just naturally, and it's not Lent yet. What I'm saying is there are people, I shouldn't say it that way, because it sounds like I'm telling on somebody. They have their own penance that they do, so they could have the cheeseburger. But that made it harder on those that don't, that said, dang, that's a good-looking cheeseburger. So it is anyway, so just to let you know, that once we get out of Lent, the rule is still there on Fridays. Now, during Lent, the rule is solid. No meat on Fridays. That's the rule. But outside of Lent, the rule is either don't eat meat on Friday or find something else to give up to sacrifice to do penance. But also, who said it? Even during Lent, it is this whole idea of giving something up is to make that sacrifice, to make that commitment to change, to be more like Christ. It is a discipline, like you said, Marcia, but it's not just a discipline. It is, what are you doing with that's going to draw you closer to Christ? Just giving up soda or candy or chocolate, how does that bring you closer to Christ?
Just thinking about making it come to light every day.
Yeah.
I agree with her, because every time I go to drink my Coca-Cola and I can't, I think of Christ and what He did, and I'm just giving up silly Coke.
But yeah, it's a start. It's not.
It is a start.
All.
But what we want to do is something that we can internalize, right?
Right.
What that's supposed to do is to remind us of what we're supposed to do to internalize for our relationship with Christ. So it's not the soda, it's not the chocolate, it's what it's supposed to do to us. Okay?
That's what we're saying.
I know that's what you said.
Well,
I'm
good.
repeating
As long as
it.
you understand that, okay.
See, it's people like you that get me thrown off track.
I'm leaving in a few minutes anyhow.
Well, don't go. Don't go away, Francis.
No, we're talking about peanut butter cups.
Yeah, don't talk about those either. We're talking about Lent.
She's gonna give that up.
Oh, good for you.
I just ate 4 peanut butter cups instead of breakfast.
Okay.
You know, it's a secret. What can I tell you?
So anyway,
We're doing it again, aren't we, Steve?
yes, you are. The question is this. What else besides just giving something up can we do?
I think,
Do something for others.
Do something for others, yeah. You know, today's readings were actually pretty appropriate about loving your neighbor, even the annoying person, even the person that you don't like very well. Where did you hear those words before? Let's go all the way back to the first session. Didn't we say that was your homework? Right? To show the face of Christ to everyone, be the face of, to see the face of Christ, and to treat people because they are God's creation. God loves them. We should love them too. Filial love. You don't have to like them, but love them, right? If you've had kids, you understand that. I may not like you right now. I love you. I brought you into this world. I love you. But I don't like you right now. I think that's an honest statement for a parent to make.
And I've said it.
I think I've said that to Brenda before.
Ah.
Well, I just wanted to make sure he knew I still loved him, even though we might not like each other.
Well, that's good. Very good. All right, now, the point is, besides giving up candy or soda or something like that, and we talked about giving up time, maybe for other people, maybe during Lent, if you got time on a Friday, you could go down and work at
Habitat for Humanity.
or I was going to actually say harvesters, right? Go help them stock shelves, or maybe
Where are they?
downtown. I have to get to you, huh?
It's on topping.
Topping. We can get you the
Yeah, I
address.
can get it.
Yeah.
Just do it here at the church.
Huh?
Just do it at the church.
Yeah. Or for those of you that are retired, they actually do it on Wednesday. But a lot of the retired people that go to Mass during the week, on Wednesdays, they will go over to the convent at St. Francis, and they will help them in their warehouse, just organize it and get it cleaned up, because they sell a lot. That's how they support themselves. They sell religious articles. Okay? So those are things that you can do. We'll talk more about that. But it is this fasting and self-sacrifice that should draw you closer to God. But it's not just keeping Christ in mind, but what are you learning from this? What are you doing? How are you associating this? We talked today in the Breaking Open the Word in the Bible study about how you love your fellow person, even people that annoy you. And I have a friend we were talking about, and this kind of brings it home to me. Been a friend of mine since we were 14 years old. And we always get into arguments. We both like to argue. But sometimes he gets ridiculous to make a point. And he will do this. He will send me texts 5-6 times a day. And some of them I'm going, really? That's just dumb. So I blocked him for a while because I didn't have time for his busyness. And this is an educated person. I mean, he's a professional guy. I don't know where he gets the time to text me this stuff 5 or 6 times a day. So I blocked him. Then we saw something on Facebook that his wife had posted that I had posted too about cancer. And my ex-wife, because we were planning this party for my kids last night, she contacted me and said, something wrong with her? And I go, I don't think so. I think she just reposted the same thing I reposted about hating cancer and that we should all, She goes, no, read some of her family members were saying, you got this, stay strong, girl, that kind of thing. And I go, uh-oh. Contacted her husband. I unblocked him because now I want to know what's going on. And as I'm walking into Mass Friday morning, he says, no, she's got a really serious breast cancer. Found out about it last week. She's, 55, 56 years old. This is probably the first major trauma they've had in their married life. And so, I think, for a while I thought his texts on certain things were annoying, so I blocked him. But now they're going to be going through a lot. And we need to love them, and we need to support them, and whatever we can do for them, I will do. And that's what we're called to do all the time. The moral of that story is that person that annoys you, that you're not crazy about, the nosy neighbor that won't leave you alone, the person at work, whatever it is, you know what? They're going through their struggles too. And Jesus Christ loves them too. It's easy for us to say, well, I'm not a bad person. I understand why God loves me. I mean, yeah, I make my mistakes. But I'm not annoying like that person is. Honestly, do we do that?
Yep.
Yeah. So it is loving that person. How does that relate to Lent? It is making that conscious effort. When that annoying person comes around, you suck it up and you're nice.
But at some point, isn't it wise to distance yourself a bit?
Sometimes,
That's
but
what he did.
I did for a while. I didn't really distance. I mean, if he'd have picked up the phone and called me on my landline and said, hey, could you help me with something? I would have done it. And I think he would have for me. I just didn't want to hear all day long that,
Tired of hearing that.
Yeah, I got more important things to do. I got to change the oil in my car. I don't care. Anything was more important than that silly dribble.
Don't you think that God gives you clues then?
I don't think it wasn't so toxic that I needed to be out of this person's life. I just needed to limit the conversation.
Maybe just about you, but I'm talking about.
Yes, but what I'm saying, it's not always a sign of a total distance. Sometimes it's just a matter of limiting that conversation or limiting that. Yeah, right. But the point is, you still love them, right? They are still part of the body of Christ.
Yes.
Christ created them. Christ loves them, and you can't know what they're going through,
Right,
right?
gotcha. Yeah, I just said that yesterday,
Yeah, you don't know.
yeah.
So we love everybody. So let's draw that back to getting to on this giving something up thing or doing something. It's not just giving it up. Say I passed for Lent. I gave up eating chocolate, and I did for 40 days. Yeah, I didn't eat chocolate. I don't eat chocolate at night. I'm usually sleeping. But thanks, Marla. It's hard to get chocolate out of your pillowcases, I found.
He had to do the one. He just had.
So I don't eat chocolate while I'm sleeping, is what I'm saying. Anyway, it's going deeper. It's making that sacrifice that Christ made for us. Right?
I think it's also in hopes that after Lent, that should become such a practice to you.
Yes.
Such a common thing to you, that you see the value of the improvement, and it will continue after Lent. Not saying, okay, it's Easter Sunday.
Right.
Walk home there.
Right.
I mean, it shouldn't be that. That's not the point.
Right. Yeah, like we said, like we said, that it should be something that you want to continue to do. That like Father said, like Marla said, Father said, that if you started it during Lent, it may be something that you want to continue with after Lent. Like eating Reese's. Amen.
That's how I gave up smoking.
What, eating Reese's?
No,
Oh,
for Lent.
oh,
And then I saw such a difference, I thought, I don't need that. But I started it thinking that as soon as Lent's over, I'm having my cigarette.
yeah.
But everything was so good and I just stayed off.
Were
That was in 1972.
Were those first few days of Lent hard?
Yes, the whole 30
Your
days
family wanna
was.
give you a cigarette?
But then it just, and my husband, he smoked, but he thought it was unladylike for women to.
Oh,
So I'd always say, when you quit, I'll quit. But then I gave it up for Lent, and I thought, oh, this is good.
he give it up?
No.
It'll make it twice as hard for you then.
Yeah, only for a little while, pretty soon, you know.
All right, so the first thing we have to do when we're picking out whatever it is we're going to do is examine our conscience. Right? Yeah. You got to have a heart-to-heart. You know, literally, this is a come to Jesus meeting with yourself. Right? What am I doing that is keeping me from having the relationship I want to have with Christ? You should want that close, intimate love with Christ. That relationship with Christ. We should want that. What are we doing to keep us from getting there? You know, we talked about sin as being a minor turning away from Christ. Or major. I mean, you know, murder would be a major turning away. You know, telling somebody a white lie might be a minor turning away. But what is keeping me from that relationship with Christ? What do I need to change? So what am I going to do this Lent that is going to lead me down that path to a better relationship with Christ? Smoking, right? In your case. We'll talk about how we use that in a minute, but start with what is it I need to do to draw myself closer to Christ? What do I need to do? We all have something. Do we all know what it is? Oh, I think we do. Most of the time we do know what that is. You know it, you hear it right here. But we keep going, nah, I like that too much, and how could that keep me from having a relationship with Christ? Nah, that's I'm not doing that. I've got to find something else. I'll give up chocolate. Whatever it is. Find what, the idea is partially what becomes your God if it's not God. Right? Is chocolate your God? Is it cigarettes your God?
Not anymore.
Well, exactly. What is your God? Go ahead.
For me, I'd really probably, if I'm being honest, like to give up some of my thoughts and my words.
Well, sure.
You know, that would be the hardest thing for me, to control that. And really, it's in your mind, is what, in your heart, of course,
Yeah.
it's your mind, that gets you closer to God. And if you don't control those two things,
All right. So what can you do this Lent? What can you?
No,
No, I agree with you,
like I
actually.
said,
Well, it's just your thoughts and it's a lack of humility.
Oh yeah.
And it's definitely, to me, a lack of, if you're type A personality, I know I am. You're a control freak, it's always like, huh, don't worry, I got this.
I think you're
You
best
know
to
you're not
change.
supposed to be doing something.
Well, yeah,
You're
but
like,
here's you know what, and you're not unique in that.
I
no,
know
you're
I-
not.
But here's my point. We all have thoughts that pop into our head that we don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Okay? You know, I'll think something and I go, oh. I feel like I've sinned. I didn't ask for the thought, it came. Right?
You're right.
No, but it kind of calms you down at the moment.
No, a lot of
Keeps you
times.
from being enraged, maybe.
No, I'm talking about I'll be walking through a room and I'll have a thought about somebody that I shouldn't be thinking. It'll just pop into my head. I kind of look at that like that's the enemy. That's Satan coming against me, trying to pull me away. And the closer you get to Christ, the more that's going to happen. The more that's going to happen. Oh, sure it is. Satan is not going to let you go easy.
But what I do, what I've like, as of recent, I've stopped those thoughts. It's like I don't, in my mind, I don't like, well, that is so true, blah, 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 you know, and I'm
Yeah.
you know how you can build
Yeah.
yourself up into
You immediately dismiss it and get it out. Okay,
But rather
but
than
here's,
just-
But I'm not
Yeah.
dealing with it.
but here, this is my point. This is how you